another edition of Haas Talks, and joining me on the show today, Jake Rosario. Jake, it's been a long time that I've wanted to have you on the show and kind of chit-chat with you a little bit, and thanks for taking the time here. I know you were out there trying to get the car ready, and I kind of pulled you away, but thanks for taking the time to talk with me, man.
Hey, no problem. Anytime is a good time to hang out with some Haas.
Oh, it's always awesome. Hey, so I just jumping right into things. Whenever I think about Jake Rosario, I always think about your brother and your dad. Whenever you guys were racing at I-44, how did that all come about and get started with just the Voyager racing team?
Yeah, so my brother actually started a couple years before me in Restrictor at I-44. We grew up, we were born and raised there. After a year or two of watching him race, I kind of got the itch and started begging my dad, and he was like, oh, no, no, no. And then one day he surprised me with the junior sprint. And, of course, back then junior sprints weren't anything like they were today.
Right.
2 strokes sounded like a weed eater was going crazy on the track.
Yeah, I talked with Trey Robb about that. Remember in the good old days, the KT100s and all the dads running around with trying to keep everybody running.
Yeah, all the dads in the infield with their starters that they're breaking an arm trying to carry it. But
yeah,
those are the good times. Yeah, I grew up at I-44 junior sprints with the Robb boys and the Sleepers and Morgan Moore racing junior sprint. I mean, we were all those little kids eating dirt and racing our junior sprints. So that's where I grew up. And then after a few years of junior sprints, I moved up to Restrictor. This whole time, me and my brother kind of racing together, and then we kind of moved up together into the Outlaw class. Raced Outlaw for a little bit together, and then he got modified, and he started racing his sport mod. And then I kind of got into the midgets. We had 3 or 4 midgets. But the Voyager racing comes from my dad's company, Voyager Home Systems. So we wanted to have kind of a special name, but a simple name too. So that's kind of where we all started, and it's kind of transformed from there.
So the number 92, where does that come from?
Yeah, so Isaac picked out number 29, and so 92 is 29 backwards. And then also we bought our first Sawyers, and the guy who we bought them from was 29, and his other car was 92, so it kind of fit perfect. And so actually my junior sprint number was 78, but whenever I moved up, it was perfect to just be backwards from Isaac. So
yeah, it was always cool because the numbers, I mean, it was the same font, the same, just everything just kind of switched back and forth.
Yeah.
When was it that you knew that you wanted to move up to try midgets? I mean, was that something that after a few years of running micros, you were like, man, this is my goal. I want to run midgets. I want to do this.
Yeah, we kind of just like anybody. I mean, you start going through the micro ranks and you win some big shows, and we won a track championship or 2, and then we kind of just decided, well, what's next? I mean, we kind of won. We hadn't won, not that we'd won any huge ones like the shootout, but we'd kind of won a few big shows, and so we kind of decided, well, let's try out a midget. So we did the midget. We kind of did it for a year and then sold one, and then kind of picked it back up and did it again and kind of sold it again. Kind of back and forth, but yeah, it was a good time.
Now, whenever your brother moved to running the modified stuff, I remember watching him at State Fair Speedway run around there. And then right before we kind of hit record, I brought up something that you kind of forgot about, and then I brought up something else that you wanted to forget about, and you're like, man, I totally forget about this. But your brother flipped that sport mod at State Fair Speedway. Do you remember that day at all? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, like it was yesterday.
Do you? So what was his reaction after that? What was Dad's reaction? Just walk us through that day, like your memories.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny racing modified with Isaac, because we're used to micros and midgets where everything is spotless. If we've been to Nerf bar, we put a new Nerf bar on for the next. I mean, we always make sure our stuff is high class. And my brother, the first week out, we had an awesome modified. I mean, it was sharp with a brand new wrap from Jeff Sleeper. I mean, it was flawless. And those modified guys didn't like a nice shiny modified.
No.
They freaking door jammed them all the way down the straightaway, and it ripped the whole fender, tore it all up. My dad was like, all right, we got to get a new fender. Everybody was, all the modified guys were like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was a fun time watching him run the modified. He was actually pretty good at it. But yeah, he did flip it. He actually, what ended his modified was at Cowtown flipping it, barrel rolling down the straightaway. And yeah, it was scary in the moment, but yeah, it's some crazy times.
Oh man. And then the scary time, and I was there for this one, during your midget career, whenever we were at Red Dirt Raceway running with Power I West. And I remember it because we did driver intros, and I didn't want to climb the stairs because the stairs getting back up to the press box at Red Dirt Raceway, it's like a hill climb. It's almost like you're on The Price is Right and you're waiting for the dude to fall off the cliff. So I was like, man, I'm just going to announce from down here, and then I can go do the winner's circle interview and just kind of be all golden. And I remember watching, and then all of a sudden through 3 and 4 and like out of the park.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the park. And you know what? People won't let me live that one down because I immediately mute the microphone and I'm like yelling at you as I'm like sprinting across the deal. And this was before they like leveled it all out and had their kart track over there. Yeah. Well, first of all, my pants were falling. Second of all, I step in this big hole and fall down, and I feel like I was like in the Army because I was like Saving Private Jake. I'm like, Jake, Jake, are you? And you like finally you lifted your head up, and that's whenever everyone else got there, and I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, hey guys, I need some help over here. Yeah,
that's when I learned that flipping in a midget is a lot harder than flipping in a micro. It hurts a lot worse.
Then like just a few weeks ago, whenever USAC was there, did you see that replay of that guy flipping out of the park?
Oh yeah. There's been like 3 or 4 since.
It was almost like the same type of deal, but he got lucky and got stopped by a little brush pile, and everyone's on 4-wheelers in there before he even stopped. Really, that was pretty courageous and pretty wild. So you go from micros to midgets. You run that stuff a little while, your dad's stuff and everything else. Now you come back to micros. What's that like been coming back? Because this isn't with Dad's, financial support from Voyager. This is kind of your own deal, where you just kind of started building it piece by piece, if I remember right. You got the chassis, and then you were like, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and kind of pieced it together. How did this all come back? How did you come back to the micros?
Yeah, so whenever we flipped the midget actually at Meeker, it scared the crap out of my mom and my grandma, and they were like, you need to quit racing, because we had just had Donnie Rae, and so they were all freaking out saying, you're done racing, this is ridiculous, something bad's going to happen, and you have babies you need to worry about. And so they kind of harped on my dad a little bit, and he kind of took it to heart, and it kind of put him in a bad spot because he didn't want to keep on, just financing it and kind of encouraging it. And so I totally agreed with him. I told him, you got to do what's best for you, and, I totally agreed. But at the same time, I'm a racer at heart, so I wasn't going to give up racing that easy. So I've had a lot of bad wrecks, and not that they feel good or anything. But so anyways, I kind of talked with my wife, and she was like, you have to race. That's what you do. That's what we do. We're a racing family. I said, yeah, I agree. And so, like you said, it's totally different this go around, though, coming out of my own wallet, my own pocketbook and everything. And so I bought like a 10-year-old car, which these Sawyers, you can buy them that old, and they work just as well. So bought an old car, kind of pieced it together with some used parts, and just kind of, like you said, piece by piece, and made a car within 6 months or so, and been at Port ever since, and just having fun.
What's it like coming back to it now? And then you're now located in Tulsa. I mean, you're from Guthrie originally, but you've been living in Tulsa for numerous years now, kind of like myself. What's it like racing at Port City Raceway? I mean, even whenever you were younger, coming up to Port was a pretty big deal. Yeah. What's it like now, knowing that you are a contender at Port City Raceway?
Well, the thing about it is, everybody knows that if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And Port City's competition week in and week out is unmatched over the country. And so, we grew up at I-44, and living 30 minutes from there, it kind of stunk driving past there to come up here every week. But it's just one of those deals where that if you can win here, you can win anywhere in the country. And we've had some success here and a lot of bad times here too, but we just know that, you got to be with the best competition in the country to make yourself better.
Look, a few weeks ago, the Stock Nationals, you picked up the non-wing win there against some stout competition. It wasn't like it was just given to you. Just walk us through that win. I mean, I know that's a pretty emotional win, knowing the history here, the history with your team, having the whole family here and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say thank you enough to my wife. She makes it possible to do these things every week and pick up these wins, big or small. She's chasing our little rugrats around the pits, and my father-in-law, of course, he always has the car. He does his best to have the car spot on every time I hit the track, and so that was me and Chassis were talking the next day after I won that race, Stock Nationals, and I was like, man, this is the first big race I've won in a long time, and it was pretty cool to win it in my own car, coming out of my own wallet, and funding it all, and doing it from start to finish. It was pretty awesome.
Now, we keep on going back to that. This is your deal, your deal, your deal. How do you balance everything? I know that you do a lot, not only through your job, whenever you were going to school even. I mean, you were traveling back and forth every day, working on your business that you and Chassis started, the JC Customs, doing custom woodworking, making different things, just to help not only race, but just to get by. What's the balance like for you as a racer, as a dad, as a husband, as an employee? I mean, you have a lot to juggle around. What's the daily routine for Jake Rosario? I know it probably changes every day, but like a normal day for Jake Rosario after you win the stock non-wing nationals, you win the stock non-wing. Okay, what do you do Monday?
Monday, see, we get up, we go to work. Get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go to work.
And what do you do for work?
Aerospace engineer at Spirit Aerosystems. So get up, go work there 8 hours, come home. We actually didn't get to wash the car that Sunday, so usually that's wash day, Sunday afternoon, but we washed it Monday. You know, that's a few-hour deal. Then have some projects to work on for JC Customs. That takes a couple hours, you know, out of the night. Of course, we got Baby Ray and Lambert that are at the house. We got to change some diapers. And all in the main mix of this is making sure my wife's happy and helping her not stress out with both boys running around. And then the odd ends that we just everyday things that I got to worry about.
Honestly, she's the real hero in this whole deal.
Absolutely.
And we're not just saying that because she's behind the cameras and watching the boys as we're talking.
No.
But a lot of people don't realize, I'm not going to call it sacrifices, but the amount of effort that the women behind the scenes, you know, the girlfriends, the wives, the girlfriends and the wives, in some cases maybe out there on the West Coast, but just the amount of effort that she puts into it as well. We have to think.
Absolutely. I mean, like they say, behind every successful man is an even greater woman, and that's the truth. I mean, I wouldn't be anything I am today if it wasn't for her. So I give her all the thanks.
Now, we talk about just everything that goes into your daily routine. There's also something that you're a part of now, that you've been a part of for probably a long time, longer than I can probably say. But the Donnie Rae Crawford Legacy Foundation is something that's near and dear to your heart. It's part of your family now, and you've taken on a big role just here recently as to you're the president now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So there's a lot of work that goes into that.
Yeah.
And tell people, I know that we've talked to Morgan, we've talked about the Donnie Rae Crawford Legacy Foundation time and time again. But what people don't realize is it's not just scholarships that you guys are doing. What all are you guys involved in?
Yeah, so obviously the scholarship is the biggest kind of what everybody kind of knows us for and kind of around the track, outside of the track. But we do mission trip funding, we do driver's relief. I mean, we do fishing tournaments, we do poker tournaments, there's so many events and different areas of the foundation that we pride ourselves in. And so, you know, like I said, there's a lot more to it than a lot of people even realize, but you know, it's truly a blessing to be even just a small part of it.
With the way the foundation works, it's not just all on your shoulders or all on Chassis or all on Jody's, or it's everybody as a team, and everybody kind of has their niche. I mean, the fishing tournament deal, I got to come to it last year and kind of announce it, so to speak, kind of MC it, and just to see the work that Kevin puts into that deal, he kind of takes that, and that's like his baby that he really takes care of. Jody's always about the racing, the races that we have coming up, and the races, making sure that merchandise and everything else is there. What is your biggest gain? What do you feel like gives you the most pride from the foundation?
So kind of like what you're saying, it's not just one or two people. You know, there's a board of probably a dozen people, and we all kind of chip in. You know, it's not like just one person does this and that. This past year or two, we kind of decided to kind of separate a little bit to where not everybody is all in on each deal, so that we can kind of let everybody kind of help in different areas. And so, like you said, we kind of gave Kevin Apple. He's the vice president. We gave him the fishing tournament duty because, you know, he's an avid fisherman just like Donnie Rae. And so he kind of takes care of the majority of that stuff. I mean, we're all in there with him helping, but he kind of takes that one. Like you said, Jody, she's kind of over everything, you know, like she should be. But the race, she kind of spends a lot of time into that, making sure the donations and all that stuff comes in. And so mine's just seeing the fulfillment from scholarships and from the awards that we give out at the race that kind of recognize role models and things like that. That kind of makes me happy to see people's smiles whenever they receive those awards and things that we're doing to help their lives better, in a sense.
Whenever you think about the foundation and where it's going, I mean, it's grown a lot from just a couple of scholarships here and there to now where you guys are giving out a lot of new ones, along with a lot of renewals. And that's the thing that a lot of folks may not know, is that if these students keep their GPAs up, you actually renew their scholarships.
Yeah, so we try to recognize hard work and award the students for that. So if they maintain a good GPA through their semester, we automatically renew them with another $1,500 for the next semester. So that's kind of unheard of in a lot of places, and we just like to pride ourselves in awarding and rewarding hard work. So like you said, we've given, in the beginning it was a few here and there, and now we've given almost over $200,000 in scholarships, which is it's a blessing for sure.
The legacy that Donnie Rae left behind and that you guys are carrying on, what's one thing that you feel everybody should know about the foundation and about Donnie Rae? What would be that one thing that you would say, I mean, is it about Donnie Rae's name? Is it about the legacy of the Crawfords? I mean, the Crawford name has been involved in motorsports forever. Yeah. I mean, for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not just Papa Rae and not just Donnie Rae, but now it's going to be coming up through the boys. I mean, it's going to continue for a long, long time.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So what is it about his legacy that people really need to, that may not know?
Yeah.
Because we try to keep it on everybody's minds. Yeah. We have a lot of people coming into motorsports right now
exactly.
that a lot of the younger kids around here, they know Donnie Rae because we all talk about him.
Yeah.
But like I talked with Morgan, I never got the chance to meet Donnie Rae.
Yeah.
But he still had a huge impact on what I do today.
Yeah.
And just what do you think is one thing that people should know about the foundation or about Donnie Rae?
Yeah, so just like you were just saying, there's a lot of new guys in racing that never got the chance to meet him or don't really know him. They know of him, but not him personally. And so that's kind of one of our biggest struggles, is to keep it, to where everybody kind of knows him in a sense, even the people that don't know him. And so, I think for me, the main thing, it's not just his name or his family, it's who he was as a person. And especially in today's world, it's so hard to find those good role models and people to look up to. I mean, of course, he had times where he could have been a jerk in the pits or whatever, but for the majority of the time, everybody knew him to be, this classy guy. Always had a smile on his face, was a good role model to the kids. There's several times he had a terrible night, but he's still signing autographs at the end of the night, or shaking a kid's hand. That changes their life, the kid's life. They'll remember that for the rest of their life. It just takes those few minutes. You just gotta pull it together and have that good smile and that good personality for these people.
So we have the Donnie Rae Crawford Legacy Foundation. We have the Donnie Rae Crawford Memorial here at Port City Raceway. Something new to 2020. The Heart 8 Racing team kind of came to you guys, and we're going to have the inaugural running of the Donnie Rae Crawford Sooner State 55, a 55-lap midget feature, featuring the Power I National, Power I West Midget Leagues. The Speedway Motors, Engler Machine and Tool, the Micro Outlaws will be here too. So it'll be kind of the best of both worlds, that Donnie did participate in both of those cars. Talk to us about a little bit about that, and maybe something that people can expect from that event.
Yeah, we're super excited to add that to our realm of events this year. It'll be really cool. Paying $5,555 to the winner, so that's going to be pretty awesome. We're hoping it'll bring in a lot of guys. It's towards the end of the year, the last race at Port of the season, and I think there's a lot of midget guys that'll be off that weekend from their other leagues, so hopefully they'll come in and join the fun. We're going to have a lot of cool stuff. As you said, it's the first year for it, so we're definitely going to be learning as we go, but we're excited to have a new event bring to the foundation, and we can't thank John Canner and Heart 8 Racing enough and Greg McCord for kind of helping bring this event live, and it's going to be pretty awesome.
I'm absolutely ecstatic about it, because just talking with you and with Greg and with everyone about some of the things that we want to try and do to try and make it a memorable event for everybody. Exactly. is going to be something special. So if you can't make it to Port City for that weekend, I know that the folks from Power ITV are going to be here. But I'm going to tell you this: if you haven't made the trip to Port City Raceway yet, you might as well mark that one down to come and check out, because I'm sure there's going to be some cool giveaways. There's going to be some cool stuff raffled off and everything else. Jake, in closing, we've kind of been all over the gamut. And whenever people talk about micro racers, the obvious always comes to the forefront. You always get Frank Flood or Chris Andrews, or you get now you're getting Brian Carver and Alex Bright, and you're getting Quinn Jones, and you're getting all these big names mentioned. What is something that people may not know about Jake, or how would you describe Jake Rosario to a newcomer that's going to be watching Flow Racing tonight? How do you describe Jake Rosario?
First off, you left out the Rob boys, and they're going to be heated if they see this. But they're one of the big names around here.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're nobodies.
No, but
bottoms down here, bud.
But on a serious note, no, I try to pride myself in kind of like Donnie Rae was, having that positive attitude no matter what. We have a lot of bad nights and we have a lot of good nights, but at the end of the day, you never know who's watching you, and that kind of hits me harder now with two boys running around the pits. Well, running just one, but soon to be two boys running. And you just never know who's watching. Even if somebody flips you all the way down the straightaway, hop out, you'll be back next week. I mean, it's not that big a deal. I mean, I know some of these, very few, but some of these micro guys do it for a living, but far and few between. So, like I said, I just try to pride myself in being a good role model to these younger kids, and just having that positive attitude always, and knowing that, we have fun racing, but, that's not the only thing that matters in life.
And finally, there's a lot of people that help you up and down. We say the road. I mean, you come here quite a bit, 3 miles down the road. But who are some of the sponsors? Who are some of the people that make it possible for the 92 to be on track every week?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, Sawyer Chassis, I've been with them from the start. 20 years with them, and it feels like it's gone by like that, but I can't thank Bob Sawyer, everything he does. I mean, he's one of those that helps people that don't even run Sawyers, Scott, the whole Sawyer family, Lightning Wings, Clarissa and Jim, and all those people over at Lightning, they've always helped me out. Jimmy Lambert and Lambert's Auto Salvage, he's really, that's like family now. And he's always been there for us. Obviously my wife, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, Donnie Crawford, and then Ray Crawford, always with the carburetors, a special tune. He has so much experience and history that he helps no matter what he does. I'm sure Precision Finishing, Adrian Cobbs, he's always helped me out with the powder coating and sandblasting. I'm sure there's some people I've left out. Aerodynamics, Racing Wheels, Ronnie. Sorry, Ronnie, but he's always, from the very first year we raced, he's always been there with us. I'm sure there's somebody I'm forgetting, but they know that I'm thankful and truly thankful for them. So
it's hard being on the spot and remembering
because get my list out,
because you do have a lot of people that help you.
And
it's not just one or two people that are. Monetary is nothing really whenever you think about it. Just the mental and the help that you get, the hands-on help, is pretty outstanding. But Jake, do you have anything else that you want to say before we cancel this show?
No, just for all the people watching on Flow Racing, just realize how special this place is. Mike and Megan have put their heart and souls into this place when they didn't have to, and it truly shows. It's an awesome show every week. It's not, exactly what everybody wants, but, you can't please everybody. And you two on the stream, it's a team, like you said, and it definitely shows every week, and everybody does an awesome job.
Well, be sure to keep your eye out on the 92 machine of Jake Rosario. We're going to go back racing now.
Sounds good.
Introducing the Performance Electronics Wideband O2 sensor with Bluetooth. With just 3 wires, installation couldn't be easier. Quickly connect your smartphone to our simple app to monitor your engine's air-fuel ratio in real time without gauges. The PE Wideband O2 sensor is just one of many Performance Electronics products that can add brains and brawn to your next high-performance project. Find them all at pe-ltd.com.